Hej, hej, hej! Nu har jag kommit hem efter intressant resa med reseskaparna till Dr.Unnis klinik och hotell som ligger i södra Indien. Där erbjöds ayurvediska behandlingar och det var ganska nytt för mig faktiskt. Jag filmade Dr.Unnis föreläsning om Ayurveda. Tyvärr, ljudkvalitet blev inte den bästa, men jag hoppas att ni får glädje av den ändå.
So good evening, everyone. So, as usual, we have a talk trying to explain why we do the things we do. Because for many people, for some people it's new. And even for the usual people, you need some explanations, right? So that's why we have this lecture. And of course, so I'll try to brief you in like around 45 minutes, and then feel free to ask me any questions. I think most people have been to talks regarding Ayurveda here, right? Are there any new people? Not that many, so it's quite good. No. See, the basic concept in Ayurveda is to find the balance within us, around us. And that's the basic step of being healthy. So when we say we need to find the balance, of course we need some sort of tool for that, right? And that's why the ancient saints came up with the idea of, or the theory of the three doshas, or the three energies, which is in this whole universe. Yeah, these energies are everywhere, from the origin of universe. So as long as this universe is there, you can use it. So we don't change when new things come up. Yeah. So that's how solid it is, and that is the three doshas, or Vata, Pitta, Kapha. You've heard about that, yeah? So the whole point is how we try to bring the balance in these, the Vata, Pitta and Kapha. We don't have time to explain everything about Vata, Pitta and Kapha. Vata is the energy of movement or motion. You know, anything that moves in this universe, we say it's the Vata energy. And then you have the potential energy. If you look at the sun or the stars, whatever, it needs some energy for the heat. And that is from the energy reserve, the stability, that comes from the Kapha. And what is transforming, you know, the fuel to energy, that is the heat, that is the Pitta, the fire. So it's only three things. The energy in motion, that is Vata. The Pitta is the energy in transformation. And Kapha is the potential energy. That's the storage, the stability of the universe. When these three things are in harmony, the whole universe has a harmony. And that is the same with the body as well. We have different movements within the system, outside the system. All the movements, the sum total of all the movements in our system, we say is Vata. Yeah, everything in motion in our system is Vata. And then all the heat energy. What is the heat in your system? The energy of transformation. That we say is our metabolism. The metabolism in each and every cell. Every single cell. We have around 80 to 90 trillion cells in our system. And the heat, the transformation in each cell, that we say is the Pitta energy. And the cell structure itself, that we say is the Kapha. That is the stability. Yeah. So if we want to do anything, first we have thoughts, ideas. That we say is the movement, that we say is the vata. And after the ideas, we have the fire. That, because we can have hundreds of ideas, but we have to transform them. That is the pitta. And then the stability, sticking onto it before jumping onto the next, that we say is the kapha. And this is the harmony. Even when we eat something, you just had some food, right? Everything. You put it in your mouth, it goes in. Next day, evening or tomorrow, you come to us, we ask, have you been to toilet? So that movement, all sorts of movement, that we say is vata. The movement into each and every cell of your system, that we say is vata. Every movement. And then, once it goes in, what is the next step? It has to be transformed. It has to be cooked. That's why we say is all the enzymes in your system. Every enzyme. All the metabolism. In each cell, the cell metabolism. That is pitta. And then, the third thing is, it builds up. It is stored. So you have your reserve energy. That is the kapha. So this is how the body functions. When these three energies are in balance, then the body gets towards the health. And when there's an imbalance, that is how we try to correct it. So, just now we go into examples. I have tried to list here. Can you read it here? No. What if I turn the light? Digital play.
It's too small.
He lighted. I'll just direct the light towards this one. This. Please say yes. So there, I've just listed the three doshas. Okay? Vata, to make it simple, we say it is more air. Pitta, the fire, and kapha is earth and water together. Because all the five elements, we have only the whole universe, to make it simple, we have said, instead of the 112 elements or something, we have this 5 basic elements. And vata is air and space, or air and ether together. Pitta is fire and water, and kapha is earth and water in a fine balance. Yeah? So, pitta is just think of all the acids. That's what makes, all the enzymes, all the acids in your system. That is pitta. That's a fire. That makes all the transformations in our system. That is fire and water together. There's no fire burning inside. It's all in the form of acids. And kapha, a good example of kapha is slime or yogurt. You know yogurt, right? So it is not water and it is not earth. It is in between. Yeah? Blah, blah. That we say is kapha. So it's in the fine balance. Even if you go into that, you can see air and space. If it's too much air, it bursts. If it's too little air, you can just think of a football, Too much air, top. Too little, it's blub blub. So it has to be the balance. It's the same with fire and water. If it's too much fire, the water goes away. And too much water, then it's too basic. So it has to be the balance. So we are now trying to understand, because these are the properties of this, what is listed is the properties of vata, pitta and kapha. Yeah? Wherever there is vata, we say these properties would be there. That is, the air around us, we say it's dry, it is light, it is cold, it is rough, it is minute, and air is always moving. So, wherever there is vata, you will see those properties. And wherever there is pitta, you say it's oily, It is very light. It is hot. It is very intense. It is mobile and it has a bad smell. You know, because most acids, when you burp, it doesn't smell that nice. Yeah. So that's why it has a bad smell. And kapha, it is, just think of the yogurt, you know, it is oily, it is heavy, it is cold, it is smooth, it is stable and it is slow. So that is kapha. So basic thing is, you look into any people, any person, if you say dryness, for example, we expand it. Dryness, when there is more vata in a person, you say, oh, my hair is dry, my skin is dry, my eyes are dry, my nose is dry, my mouth feels dry, my ears feel dry, my yeah, everything. Dryness in the extremities, dryness in the, then when you go inside, you know, dryness inside the mouth, dryness in your intestines, that we say is constipation. You know, there, when someone says, oh, I travel a bit and I get constipated, that means we say it is more dryness. We don't say drink more water. That is Western science. In our science, we say it gets too dry, it has to have the oil inside or the lubrication inside. So drinking lots of water is not the solution. It makes it more dry. If you want to drink water, you drink a little warm water. That makes it moist. Yeah? Just like that lightness, you know, feeling light in the body, feeling light in the mind. So any sort of lightness, when you say there's more lightness, there are people who say, oh, I can eat and eat, but I never put on weight. That is typical vata. So feeling light in the bones, you know, when you say osteoporosis, osteopenia, that is all lightness. Then cold. You know, people say, oh, I feel very cold, I have cold extremities. When it is November, December, we have to come to a warm climate. That is typical vata. Yeah? And again, roughness, having roughness in the extremities, cracked skin, roughness in the extremities of the hair. Yeah, generally roughness in the skin. That also all vata. Then minute and mobile. You can, you know, people say, oh, I'm having rumbling in my tummy, I feel restless, I feel, anxious. All those movements, you know, mobility, that we say is always vata. So this is what we try to look for in people. Then pitta, they say, oh, I feel I have oily skin, lots of secretions. And usually pitta people, they are light. These are people who don't have to do much workout, but always look fit till 40, 45. And they think all the others can do the same because they are the leaders, you know. If you work he doesn't work out, that's why, you know, because for them 2 weeks of workout and they are fit again. So they think all the others are like that. And they're usually hot, you know, so that is with temper, when you feel them. You know, these are people who always like to go for skiing and, you know, vacations in the north. That's typical pitta. Then usually sharp. You know, these are the movie stars. You know, they have the quick solutions, very sharp and trying to, you know, make those solutions. That is usually the pitta ones. Sharp in the intellect. That's fire in the intellect. And that's also and usually they are the best ones for dentists and, you know, also for the perfume industry because they always have lots of secretions like this. And then we go on to kapha. You know, it's usually oily. These are people who usually, when you look at the physique, they have to work out almost every day. Because if they don't work out for a week, you can see it on them. They would say, I can look at food and then I have it on my body. That is typical kapha. But usually, you can say, oh, I'll take my time, you know. Everything is a little slow. It takes its time. But the good part is it has the stamina. So it's usually a slow starter, but when it starts, this is the thing that can keep going for a very long time. So you go into the offices, they are the ones to leave last most of the time. Because it starts slow but keeps going. That is the kapha energy, because kapha is the reserves. Each and every person, it's your kapha that is giving you the reserve energy. When the kapha finishes, what happens? What happens when your reserve energy is finished? Burnout, yes. That's when they come to us. So, I'm just getting you into, just to get familiar into this. And each and every person, as soon as we are born, we have these properties. As soon as you are formed as a zygote, you inherit in your genes. That is what we say, the constitution. So that is what each and every person has. So whenever you have the vata in your system, you have more of the vata properties. Whenever you have pitta, you have these properties more. And when you have kapha, you have these properties. So the whole point is, if we have more of these, or one or two, then we always, this is our strong point. Yeah? If we have pitta and vata, then pitta and vata is our strong point. Most of the time we make our bread and butter with these two. And we are running in search of this one, the third one. This is what I see in normal practice. We always long for what we don't have. And that is what usually we see in couples as well. You always get attracted to the opposite one. Because if you are usually vata, we'll always look for kapha. If you are pitta, if two pitta comes together, it's like shh, two fires. Yeah, it gets very intense because pitta likes to dominate, and it's interesting to see the relationship. It's full on. But we have the tendency to go towards what we don't have. Yeah. So kapha in general will always look for pitta, because pitta and vata, because it needs that stimulations. Vata looks always for the grounding. Pitta needs something to cool down. So usually they'll end up with a little bit of vata and kapha. So this is what we usually see in people. And whenever we have these properties, we should always try to bring the opposite properties into us. That is what our body craves for. And that is the balance we are speaking about in this universe. Yeah? And this is what we try to do in our treatments as well. But people don't come here to treat their personalities. People come here to treat their problems. And this is the wonderful thing about Ayurveda, because you can diagnose each and every ailment according to Vata, Pitta and Kapha. So that is, I've just written the examples of few things here. Can you read it? Oh, gosh. Next time I'll come in with a pair of glasses for everyone. So some things listed here. There is blood pressure, yeah, arthritis, allergies, headaches, tiredness, tennis elbow, obesity, stomach problems, osteoporosis, depression, fever, diabetes, fibromyalgia, cystitis, heart problems, cancer. Do you need anything more? Any other interesting topics? So what is a good one to start with? Blood pressure. What is blood pressure? It's the movement of the blood through the vessels. Yeah? So when it exerts more pressure, then there is blood pressure. So movement is Vata, and then there is the Pitta as well. The Kapha is the structure. Yeah? If something moves in a structure, so what we say is, in our body we have these minute channels. Yeah? That's how everything is communicating. So all the movements that we say is Vata. And the structure as well is all the structures, what is made of? It's the kapha in our system. And it's the static balance of the temperature inside that is maintained by the what? What maintains the temperature inside these small channels? Pitta. Yeah? So blood pressure as such, it can come because of vata. It can come if the temperature has a difference as well. Yeah? That is pitta. And it can also come if the channels have excess blocks inside. Yeah? Because we say, oh, you have cholesterol, you have some sort of excess secretions. Then what is that? That is kapha. So, if it is something with the movement, if there is something even with the heart, people say, oh, I have some different palpitation, some problems with the atrial fibrillation. These are things where it's all movement of the heart. It is that we say is vata. Okay? Any inflammatory changes, if the temperature changes and inflammations come, especially after COVID, what has happened? The new fever is all about creating inflammations. Every fever nowadays after the pandemic, it's all inflammations. And that is excess pitta. And excess pitta, always you look into the complications, it's been inflammations all through the system. And if it is in the heart, it comes as myocarditis. And that inflammation can also cause blood pressure. Yeah? Then any sort of blocks in the heart. People always say, that's why pharmacy sells cholesterol medicine for everyone. Even if it's an inflammation, you get the cholesterol medicine. But usually it is for, the cholesterol medicine is mostly given when there are blocks. That is kapha. So this is the way of trying to understand the thing. Vata is all about the movement. Pitta is balancing the temperature. And kapha is the structure having excess of the structure or the blocks. And that is kapha. So in BP, usually it can be because of difference of the movement. It can be because of excess temperature or excess pitta, or if there is excess cholesterol or sometimes of the blocks. So that's what we try to diagnose what exactly it is. And the medication should be according to that. It is not to give the same medicine to all the three conditions. And that is the same with arthritis. Anything with itis is always inflammation. Anything with itis, that we say is pitta. Especially coming from Nordic countries, what do you think you have more? What is the predominant dosha in your countries? Pitta? Only pitta? Pitta and vata. Because this is what traveling in these countries and also now having so many patients from different cold countries, this is what we came to know. Because here when we walk a little slow. There you run. Because the temperature is like that. If you walk like this, then you get too cold. So, of course, the body goes like that and so does the mind. Yeah? All your stimulations, everything is in that intensity. And if you don't work according to that intensity, you are out. So it's all about, this is what I have seen working with the Nordics, that is most of the imbalances are because of excess use of pitta and vata. And pitta and vata, excess pitta, always it's about cooling the system, trying to cool down the inflammations. And usually you get steroids, right? And steroids in general don't cool down, they hold it so that it can show up later. And then vata is all about finding the grounding. And when you look at vata and kapha, you can see vata and kapha have totally opposite. The only thing that is common is both are cold, or else it is totally opposite. So whenever there is an increase of vata, you will always long for kapha. And it's very interesting, when I come to the Nordics and speak about kapha, everyone starts to smile. Oh, they are too slow. Simple thing, that's what you're missing. And that's what most people are looking for. You know, they get a vacation, they want to go somewhere near the water and near the nature. And they all have their summer houses near that. And they laugh about kapha. That's because you can be happy only in that place. That is earth and water. That is kapha. That is the grounding. That is the stamina. That is what each and every cell is made of. That is your energy reserve. When you finish that, you have to come to us. Here we slow you down. So, what else? Tennis elbow, it's inflammation, yeah? Tiredness. Tiredness means usually all the vata properties go up. Here, headaches, migraine. You know, any sort of pain in the body we say is vata. Any sort of inflammations in the body we say is pitta. And any sort of swelling or pus formations that we say is kapha. Yeah, even the cat is interested in the lecture. So when we come to headaches, you know, you have different types of headaches. Yeah, you have tension headaches, you have migraines, then you have sinus headaches. Just to make it simple, whenever you are you are doing a lot of stuff, like in your places, muscles get stiff, the brain is running very fast, so the body gets a little stiff and tight, and that we say is tension headaches, and that we say is vata. As soon as the person rests, gets a break, gets a little massage, usually the tension goes away and then they feel better. Then we have headaches where people say, oh, I'm near my periods, there's been lots going on, I've been in too much stress, and you get the headache, you cannot look at the light, you have to be in a dark room, you throw up, a lot of acid coming out, and then the person feels better. This is typical pitta headache. They cannot look at the light, they have to be in a dark room. This is all typical pitta headaches because of the excess heat in the system, excess acids that is created by the excess stress and things that's going around. That we say is pitta headache. Then there are headaches where people say, oh, my head is so heavy. I feel like I have pressure, I have 10 kilos on my head. Yeah? And those headaches, we say it is more like kapha. You feel like yogurt in your head. Yeah? So, these three headaches, do we treat the same way? No. You know, in pitta headaches, you have to take herbs which is cooling down the system. In vata headaches, you have to put a little warmth and give the nourishment, give the rest. And in kapha headaches, kapha is cold. You know, in sinus, when you feel heavy, they always feel, oh, I need something hot for my head. I need a steam. So you have to see the symptoms and not take the same painkiller for all the three. So you have to distinguish. When most of the time, most cases coming to us is the pitta ones. Because what happens is, pitta people, they always have a drive. They have to be on top. We have to be the best. So what happens? Things cannot stop. And if something happens, they have a small, you can cover it up with some painkiller or something and they still function. Unless it hits the wall. And then they are clever enough, so they even look for alternative things and somehow find Ayurveda, then they come for that. Because here, the pitta things is usually painkillers, steroids, everything is still acidic for the body. Anything acidic, it covers it up, but actually, in the long run, it actually increases the pitta in the system. And that is why it is very easy to get to a burnout. And even stomach ache or like obesity. Obesity always we say it is stagnation. That is usually excess kapha. So that needs stimulation. We'll come more into that. I will explain this one. Even depressions, everything we always stomach problems. If it is something with the movement, people say, oh, I have gurgling, I'm feeling lots of air, lots of wind, that we say it's a vata thing. People then say, sometimes it's cramps. Sometimes they say, I have more pain in the upper part, and it's usually burning, and that usually is a pitta. It's because of the excess acid, and sometimes it can be because of the blocks. So when you come every day and ask us, tell us about your tummy, we try to distinguish if it is more of a vata thing. Is it merely because the peristalsis is not good, or is it because of the excess acid, or is there some sort of block in the system? This is how we try to distinguish. And depressions. What are depressions? Which dosha? Vata. Okay, there's one person says Vata. Kapha. That's the next one. Now we have two. We have only one more now. Pitta. Okay. And this is the good part of Ayurveda. Because depressions, they can people can come with different symptoms. And this is what you have to note. Whenever it is coming with Vata, usually around autumn, it comes with anxiety, movement, nervousness, restlessness, sleeplessness. When it comes in combination with Vata symptoms, that is when we say it is Vata depression. And usually it is around the autumn. Yeah? Pitta depression, because Pitta was also there. Yeah? In these depressions, it always starts with irritation, getting anger for silly things. Getting irritated, getting upset, getting rashes in different places. It usually shows the reddish rashes. And this is usually, Pitta is usually used to solving problems and having done it their way. When they have lost a battle, then comes the Pitta depressions. And it always comes with irritations, frustrations, anger. Then only it goes into the next symptoms. And Kapha depression usually comes in the spring. You can see a very healthy person, good muscles, fully saying, oh, I feel tired, I feel heavy, I cannot move, I feel like yogurt. That is Kapha depression. And all these depressions have to be treated separately. You don't give the same medicine for the three. In Pitta, the depression came because they couldn't conquer something. So you have to first take out the excess acid, the excess fire. Take it out. Take the inflammations. Usually we give them a small dose of the laxative. The next day they come to us so angry, you made me go to the toilet 15 times. We didn't. It was your body's reaction. Yeah? Because that is how much acid you have in your system. Kapha depressions, usually we say it is the heavy depression. They always feel heavy. But Vata depressions, it is the restlessness and anxiousness. That's a light depression. So in heavy depressions, we have to, what do? Stimulate. We have to warm them. That is where in West you say exercises, but that is mostly in kapha depressions. That is where we give them, but you can't say, come, you should exercise. No, kapha means they need warmth. If you push them, they get more stubborn. You know, the yogurt gets like that. So you have to say, come on, let's go for a walk. And then when they warm up a little, then they start to run. Or else they just sit there. And pitta is about, first, you usually try to cool them down, get all the acids down. Then they feel the tiredness. And then it's all about energizing them. And vata, what do you do in vata depressions? Now you know. Ayurveda is very simple. Anxiety, nervousness, what do you do?
Moisturize, nourish.
Yes, nourishment, grounding. It's all about, here we need stability. Vata looks for stability. So the treatment is, we need to nourish them, we need to give them the rest, and we need to ground them. Do you give the same yoga practice to all the three? There are yoga teachers here. Give me some ideas, please. What would you do for a pitta depression?
More yin practice.
Huh?
A more restful practice.
More restful practice. But usually they have a lot of anger. Yeah, frustration and irritation and anger inside them. How do you get it out? How do we get it out? Yes. Usually, it is one of the things I thought was, it is usually nice to get it out first. So you can start in an intense way. You can slow start and then really get it out so they can swear or scream or whatever or cry, and then get them into the ground. And then go into the yin yoga. Go into the grounding. Because that is how you can cool down the pitta. And Vata, it is all about, because they are so restless even on the mat. So we can start with some walking meditation or something and slowly get them grounded. And Kapha, that is the exercise they need really. You start slowly and then you go full on. So this is a good thing of trying to see, the beautiful thing of trying to put it into Ayurvedic view. Even fever, I have explained this many times. You know, Vata fever, there are fevers which just, it comes and it goes. You get the fever, you rest for some time, it goes away. That we say is Vata fever. That needs more grounding and rest, more like soups. Pitta fever, that is the one we have now, which is the dominant fever which came with the corona and pandemics. It is all about inflammations. It goes very fast. And that is why people are getting problems with the bronchitis, everything, because it goes very deep. And that needs cooling medicines, but you don't have them in the West. So you have to take the vaccines. Yeah, but usually we give them herbal teas which are cooling the insides, which takes away the acid, so that is much better, and herbs are the best for that. And kapha fevers usually makes a lot of mucus. You feel heavy. There you have to heat up the system. There you can take your paracetamol and hot things. And might be you can even go to the sauna, because kapha needs heat. But you don't take the pitta fever to the sauna. What happens? Then you really burn. These are fevers where you feel, oh, I feel like putting ice on my forehead. The eyes are burning, everything burns. You get rashes. That is typical pitta. Even diabetes, we look into vata, pitta. So all the things, cystitis, heart problems, even cancer, you will see, we usually try to put it into vata, pitta and kapha. Because the aggressive forms are most of the time pitta. You look at liver cancer, you look at pancreatic cancer, these are the cancers which come in the pitta organs. liver is full of acids, pancreas is full of acids. When cancer comes into these ones, that is when it can go very fast. And usually in pitta conditions, the cancer can get very aggressive because the body is very hot. So here, when people have treatments or even chemo, we always give them cooling herbs to go along with the chemo, because the chemo kills a lot of cells, but also a lot of good cells. So we have to keep on cooling the system, because this is like really a hot treatment. You know, it is like you have grass and you have the weeds. If you look at the garden there, the weeds are the cancer cells, and then you have the healthy grass. So it's about trying to get the weeds in between the grass. So what do? You take the thing and burn everything out. That is chemo. And then you wait for the good cells to come back. That is where we can come in and give you herbs to stimulate the good cells to come back. So that's one of the things we do here. That is, people coming after chemo and other cancer treatments. Usually when we give our herbs and treatments, the body really helps to bring back the good cells. And rasayana, that is the best thing for that. Now, so this is, I've just given you different examples, okay? So now what do we do in treatment? And that is what I have drawn here. This is a representation of, this is Ayurvedic anatomy and physiology. That is how we see the body. Each and every person, we see you like an onion. Very simple. Yeah? And we see you like different layers. We say each and every person, we have 7 layers. And these layers are, we say the outer layer, we say is the water layer. Inside that, we have the blood. And then the muscle, the fat, the bone marrow, and the deepest is our sexual energy. It's a simple and easy way of understanding the body. So the outer layer, we say the water layer. You know this, it's just like the plants, and now you feel a little thirsty, you have the water, you feel nourished. In your garden, when the plants go like this, you put the water, it comes up very fast because the outer layer is very easy to nourish. So if you have any problems in the outer layer, it can be cured also very quickly. That is a good part of it. And then comes the blood. That is the second layer. So anything which comes into the blood layer is also in the outer layer. It's easy to cure. And after the blood, it is our muscle that holds everything together. And when it comes to the muscle layer, it takes a little more time. And then comes the fat. What is the fat? The fat is the lubrication for the whole system. That all we say is the fat. Even the brain has fat. So the lubrication there, that we say is the fat. And then we have the bone. When it gets into the bone, it takes almost 6 weeks for it to cure. And inside the bone, what do we have inside the bone? The juice of the bone. Yeah, that's the bone marrow. And that is what we say our nervous system. The brain is inside the bone, right? The spinal nerves, the spinal cord, it's inside the bone. So anything which is inside any structure inside the bone, we say is the bone marrow, the juice inside the bone. So when it comes towards the bone and the bone marrow, then it gets more difficult to treat. Let it be in any forms of medicine, you can see anything with the nervous system, it's always more difficult to treat. And the essence of all this, we say, is our sexual energy. And when all the 7 layers are really well nourished, then we say the body is quite balanced. So whenever you are having any sort of treatment, this is what we are trying to do. So when we say like the green apple, right? You have apples, you have the flowers, you have the small apples then, and then comes the hard green apple. And then in the spring, what happens? Or in the autumn, you get the ready apples, right? And then we take them and we store them. And if we don't take them, what happens? It falls and yeah, then it starts to shrink and comes to be part of the soil. And that is the symbol of our life. Yeah? First we are the flowers, then we are the small apples where we are vulnerable, our parents take care of us. Then we become the green apple. Yeah, the green apple is really strong. You can throw some stones, it will break and it will still stand there. That is the green apple. That goes till 40, 45. Yeah? And then we are ready. That's the ready apple. And the ready apple looks nice, it looks beautiful. And that is where Ayurveda becomes most relevant. If you look after the apple in the most balanced way, then it can slowly age in a very graceful way. And that is this onion. So if you can look after it in the best possible way, then it lasts for a long time, all through the winter, and we can use it in the best possible way. So when we have the green apples, you know, our metabolism is really good. We can go out till 12 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, no problem. Next day morning we are fit. Because the metabolism is wonderful. We can do whatever. They don't come for any Ayurveda. Usually they know. They don't need any doctors. They have their own theories, YouTube channels, and speak about health. Yeah. So once it becomes the ready apples, most of our clients are like that. Because then we have to keep it going. So it degenerates in a graceful way. So we have to look after it. That is where the theory of Ayurveda is really wonderful to follow. And that is what we try to do here as well. That is, you have a massage. What are you trying to do? You know, the nourishment we say, it goes from the outer layer. So the water layer can be nourished very fast. And then it comes to the blood, then the muscle, then the fat, then the bone marrow, and the sexual energy. So when all the layers are really doing well, then the body is really healthy. And then we say we have a wonderful aura, or that is our immune system. Yeah, that is around us. And this is unique to each and everyone here, to have that aura. And when this is used in a wonderful aura, enlightened way, that is how we can communicate with the infinite aura around us. That is why Ayurveda accepts things, other forms of healing, you know, spiritual healing. That comes from the outside and heals our aura so that the internal tissues can be, whatever imbalance is there can be corrected that way. But when you come to treatments here, what we are trying to do, what do? We are giving you different types of massages. What we try to do is, we are making all these layers permeable, you know, because when we age, our metabolism is not the same. So every muscle, every massage, what it tries to do, it tries to get these layers permeable so that the nourishment goes deeper. And And in between the layers, you have your toxicity. You have your metabolic waste. And that is what we are giving you wonderful medicines every day. And we ask you, how many times have you been to toilet? Because whatever we move with the massages, it shouldn't stagnate in the system. It has to go out. What is stagnated has to go. That is why we give the herbs. So you are actually stimulating the metabolism. You don't want to collect it in your system. And again, during aging, what happens is the DNA changes in our system. One of the best ways to find out is how we are processing is, other thing what are the normal things we ask? How many times toilet? How is your appetite? Are you hungry? Because it is this fire, the pitta, the metabolism, and the representation of that is your appetite. And we sit here and we hear these sad questions. I don't want to be hungry. Then I lose weight. You simply might lose weight for a few days. But after that, your system gets stagnant. The DNA changes cannot be reversed. If you want to reverse it, you have to feed your metabolism. What is the new Danish medicine which is for, what is it called? To lose weight? Helps you not to eat? From no one noticed. So what happens there is, we say it is like fasting. Your body refuses to eat. So first, in fasting, it doesn't get the nourishment. So all the stagnation is gone. During fasting, what happens? The metabolic waste in layers, it gives time for the body to filter out. But that is okay for 1 month or something. But after 3 months, what happens? Then the body gets deprived of the nourishment. And what happens is, it's okay for the outer layers, but the inner layers, that's your sexual energy, the bone density, also, the bone marrow, that is your brain. The brain needs those fat and that nourishment. When that doesn't get it, then starts the degenerative changes in that system. So fasting or any sort of those medicines, I would recommend, if you want, you can take for 1 or 1.5 months and please stop. Because that seems to be the new trend. So for the different people, we try to give these massages so that you're stimulating the different layers, trying to get the metabolic waste. And it is different types of oils and massages we use. If it is Vata, it is always nourishing. If it is Pitta, what should we do? Cooling. The oils should be cooling, and you see, you come all the way and we are washing you with this herbal water. Why the hell? You go to the kitchen, you will see people preparing different teas. Yeah? And what it does is, it is all anti-inflammatory. And especially for people coming from the Nordics, where it is always go, 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 you have to first cool down the system. You cool down the system, you take the excess acid and the inflammation out of the system, and then they are ready to go again. So that is why we keep on doing the different herbal waters and teas which we use for the washing. They come and say, oh, I had this hot treatment, I felt, someone was telling me, oh, I will come every day if I have this hot treatment, boom, boom, boom. In the first days, if we do that, the body will be so inflamed. It feels very nice when the people have it, because it brings down the vata and but all the acid starts to collect inside, and as soon as you get back, everything come back with a vengeance, and that's not the way to do it. Yeah. So we will always, why we ask you the different questions is, we want to feel how your body has responded to each and every treatment. If the appetite is better, if the metabolism is picking up, then only we can get a long-term result of the treatment. Because once we do so after doing the massages, then we give you the herbs, we do the cleansing. And after the cleanses, the third step is, that's why we give you different prescriptions to take home. Because after the cleanses, what happens? The body is a little weak. There you don't take all these things to eat and nourish yourself suddenly, because it's all about building up your digestive fire. So you have the different preparations so that your metabolism kicks up. Then it's ready to digest everything. If your system cannot absorb it, there is no point. You can go to all the apotheques, buy all your wonderful multivitamins, vitamin C, everything, and have it, because you don't need any food nowadays. There's all those things in the apothec. You can buy it. But it is your body that decides if it can absorb it or not. Only if your system absorbs it, you nourish from it. So in each and every person, I can eat the same thing, you can eat the same thing, but we absorb in a different way. So we try to give you herbs in a way according to your system. That is what we try to think every day, how you are responding to each and every herb we are giving, each and every treatment we are giving you. Every person has a way of absorbing it. So we listen to that, and then we try to give you prescriptions so that you can take home. Because always after 2 weeks, the onion is a little weak. You need to build it up. You need to really get it strong. And when it comes to your climate, usually it can, every person, when it comes to the home place, they feel it. The body will nourish it. So you take those preparations, build up your system. That is how you can end this treatment in a nice way. So this is what a general description of what we try to do here.
Tusen tack för att ni tittat på den filmen. Tummen upp om ni tyckte om den. Skriv jättegärna kommentarer, jag svarar på kommentarerna. Och det kommer flera filmer om Indien lite senare. Prenumerera gärna om ni inte har redan gjort det. På återseende!